A new season, finally here on iRacing 2023. Season 4 begins tonight when the Extreme eSpeed TV Coast to Coast Racing League. Tonight, it's Sunday Night Showdown. Oh yes, we've been waiting all day for Sunday night, that's right. We get things set to go here with the Wingless Warriors, and the Wingless Warriors brought to you by the Salty Dogs. And we're so glad you could join us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Marty Sakala with you. Bear with us. This will update here in just a split second. There we go. So we get set. A brand new season just around a couple of seconds from now, I guess you could say. But we're excited for this one. All begins at Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum. And man, are these Wingless Warriors going extremely fast. Top speeds of about 120 miles an hour going into a corner. I think you're in for a treat tonight. Well, let's talk about the contenders here. The main guy to watch out for, of course, is this man, Brandon Templeton, in car number 31, defending Wingless Warriors champion. A 4-win season tied with Blake Chapman. However, though, with the full amount of starts he had on the year, was able to beat out Patrick Spangler 800 to 766. How will it play out this year? We'll find out in just a little bit. But we'll have late models for you later tonight at the dirt track at Charlotte. We should have action beginning in just a couple of moments, and that we will with our first heat race of the evening. A great car count, 20 drivers with us for the Wingless Warriors. For that, in my opinion, that's extremely good here for the season opener at Bristol Motor Speedway. We're ready to go for heat race number 1. Here's how they look in your starting lineup. Brian Dickens and Jacob Musso make up the front row. Row number 2, Gentleman Jack Hitt, and he's next to Bob DeGood. Row number 3, Bud Ward in car number 19. He's next to the Bruted Beast and Jeff Barker. Rounding out the field, G.J. Boydell in car number 014. As the field is getting lined up, making the final touches to their sim rigs. If you're new to a regular night in the Coast to Coast Racing League, here's how the night will go. We have the heat lineups. They are set by pill draw, so they're done at random. We've got our heat races. If it's a car count of over 24 drivers, the top 4 will advance out of each 8-lap heat, but everyone makes it through each 8-lap heat. If we had a B main, it would be 10 laps. Tonight's feature, but after our 3-minute warm-up, is set for 60 laps. Let's talk about the Bristol Motor Speedway. 26 degrees of banking on the dirt. No safer barrier on it one bit. But it is like a stadium here. That's for sure. So we're just moments away from taking the green flag with the midgets. And what should be a fun one. And we're green already for our first heat race. Dickens takes the lead early. Musso to second. Tries to get the drive off at turn number 2. Jack hit third. Bob DeGood fourth. 2 drivers did not take the green flag. That was G.J. Boydell and Bud Ward off at turn number 4. Lap 1, led by the 122. Musso looks to try and find a way to close in. DeGood just barely taps the wall in the center of 1 and 2. Musso, too much on corner exit. Here we go. Big wreck. Barker, DeGood's flipping in turn 3. He's in the fence. Wild way to kick off the night, and it's Dickens over Musso at the moment. They're the only 2 that'll battle for this heat win. Let's ride on board here for a lap with the 61. Show you the top speed coming out of corners. Just under 120 miles an hour. You can see everyone on the high side They just want to use that banking to keep as much speed as they can. Again, Dirt Midget, 350 quarter-inch V8 with 400 horsepower, 900 pounds, and can go 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Its top speed, 143 miles an hour. 3 laps to go in Heat 1. Winner starts on pole, but it's Brian Dickens out in front. And car number 122 nearly taps the wall. Just trying to look here. I don't believe Dickens ran a midget race with us last season, so... And that is correct. So it's been a while since we've seen Brian Dickens drive one of these American race cars. Jacob Musso running in P2. His brother Joe finished 13th in points, 2 top 5s on the year. Jake had only 1 top 5 and 5 stars with the Dirt Midgets. So we're on the final lap here of heat race number 1. Straightaway lead for the driver of the number 122 as he makes his way off at turn number 4. Brian Dickens wins heat race number 1. Musso finishes second. Here comes Jack Hidoff of 4 to take the 3rd spot. And Jeff Barker takes 4th. Bob DeGood 5th, Bud Ward 6th, G.J. Boydell 7th. Obviously, as I mentioned, everybody is in the show. Here's the lineup for heat race number 2. On the pole, it's Daddy's Money. That's Connor Ross with number 35. And next to him, it's the Trent Verstraeten machine in car number 088. Row number 2 on the inside, it's the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in car number 161. Next to him, it's Cody Graham in the 2. Row number 3, Steve Maurer in the 888. He's next to Pat Boyce of the 41. And rounding out the grid, one of the best sprint car drivers last season, the salesman, Blake Chapman in car number 20. Let us know as well who you were rooting for in the chat. I'll give you a shout out live and on the air. I believe, if I recall correctly, it was Blake that got his, I believe it was Blake that got his one of his trophies from championships. I can't recall. I saw it posted. I think it was it was either driver communication or it was the lounge. I'm trying to do a quick look here before we go green. All right, so I'm pretty sure it was the lounge, but nevertheless, I think we were about to go green flag racing. Yes, it was. And it's got its Knoxville Nationals championship from last August. So, but anyway, Heat 2 underway with the Wingless Warriors, and it's Trent Verstraeten with a good jump. Pat Boyce in the wall, 3 wide for the 2nd spot as the field makes their way down the back chute. Cody Graham with the advantage. It's Terry Landis all the way on the baby bottom as he tries to roll off at turn number 4. Can't get a drive like Verstraeten does, so Trent leads lap number 1. But look at this racing going on. Oh! And that's Cody riding the fence in turn 1, but keeps it upright. We stay green. But obviously damage on the number 2. Look at this racing for the 3rd position as the field makes their way across the line. Verstraeten has it over Blake Chapman and Pat Boyce. The salesman did not get the pill draw he wanted, but he blows past Trent Verstraeten for right now, and he has his eyes set on Canada Connor. Connor may be the 2nd driver with 2 nicknames. If you remember, when we did the championship race for the small and big blocks, Connor Ross used Joe Plazik's throwback, and I think that may have hit Canada Connor as the field makes the way into turn number 3. Terry Landis leading off at turn number 2, and that bottom is working out for him really, really well. 1 second lead. Nobody, I don't think, used the bottom in Heat 1. So this is the first driver to use it. And man, is that paying off for him. Chapman second. Here's the race for third as the field makes their way into turn number 3. Verstraeten with the edge entering the corner. But it's Boyce and Ross that follow each other. Boyce nearly threads the needle, and he gets a little sideways with 2 to go. Quickest car on track, though, Blake Chapman, 17.82. He's cut the gap down a couple of tenths. Landis is hanging on to it. He is on the apron next to the inside safety barrier. We could have a battle for this heat win between 2 drivers that use promo code CART for 15% off. Chapman is right there. Does he have anything for Landis? Chapman sends it into turns 3 and 4. They come to the checkers. Terry Landis hangs on by a 1/10 of a second over Blake Chapman. And 1 more lap, the salesman gets it. Ross Verstraeten, Boyce, Maurer, and Cody Graham round out the field, and we're set for heat race number 3. By the way, I do want to mention Heat 1 was brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Heat 2, Langdon Mechanical. Heat 3 brought to you by Top Notch Trucking. Here's the starting lineup. JR on pole position. That's John Rayner. And next to him, it's the one of Joe Dirt Canellis. Row number 2, Daniel Vaught. He's in the number 180. And next to him, it's the mayor, Steve Bixler, in the 75. Row number 3, it's Joe Musso in the 63. And rounding out the field, Brandon Templeton and car number 31. No call for JR to the grid. So that means Vaught is on pole next to Canellis. So we're a lap away from going green here. Great week coming up all around here on iRacing. Tried out a lot of new things. This week was a fun week with having Kern County now in iRacing. Was able to try that out. A couple of new GTP models in the game, from Porsche to Acura. A Ferrari GT3 now in. Super Formula. The Pontiac 87 I'm excited for, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun when the 87s race on Tuesday night. But set to get it going here for heat race number 3, and we're green. Canellis and Musso and Templeton. 3 wide for the second spot for just a moment. As Canellis rides the longer way around the racetrack, Templeton with a handful off turn number 4. It's Daniel Vaught that leads lap number 1. And he is using Terry Landis' line on the bottom, but here comes Canellis. Top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Looking for the lead off at turn number 4. He's got it. Vaught tries to fight back on the bottom. Does he have it off the corner? Doesn't really have to have it. Brandon Templeton on board with him as he closes in on the top 2. What can the champ do? Does he decide to thread the needle here off the corner? Vaught taking on. Canellis is holding on. Templeton is second of the line. We're on lap 4. He has to get on the binders there, or else he would have ran into the tail tank of Daniel Vaught. Joe Musso makes it a 4-car shootout for the race lead. Steve Bixler crashed a couple of moments ago, and so he is out of it. But halfway home, top 4, you can throw them all under a blanket as Templeton slides up, has to give Joe Musso a lane. And the 63 goes the 3rd spot, but he catches the wall. Templeton uses it to his advantage, and he tries the slider on Canellis. Doesn't work. This is a heck of a race here with 3 to go. Canellis tries it up on the top shelf once again, and he goes through to the point. Vaught wants the bite, though, in the corner. Templeton decides to go up where Canellis is, and Canellis takes the lead back with 2 to go. Going to be one lap to go this time by. Templeton closes in again on Canellas. It's about 3 car lengths as they cross the stripe. Where does the 31 make his move down the back chute? Canellas shuts the door up high. Templeton sends it in, throws the slide jump. Canellas counters it back. It's door to door at the line. Oh, baby! Joe Canellas by 12 thousandths of a second. Wow, that was fun. A great crisscross by Joe Dirt and wins the heat. Oh, I can't wait for this feature at Bristol, baby. Step aside and go to a break. Stay with us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Knoxville Race. Time to meet the field. Here is your catalytic recovery starting lineup. On the pole position, it's Brian Dickens. He's in car number 122. And next to him, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, the 161. Row number 2, Joe Canellas in the 1, and next to him, Jake Musso in the 61. Row number 3, it's the salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20, and Brandon Templeton next to him in the 31. Row 4, Gentleman Jack Head, he's in the 217. Next to him, it's Canada Connor Ross in the 35. Rounding out the top 10, Daniel Vaught in the 180. Next to him, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Row 6, Trent Verstraeten in the 88, and Joe Musso in the 63. Row number 7, Bob DeGood in the 7, and Pat Boyce in the 41. Row 8, the Mayor, Steve Bixler in the 75, and Bud Ward in car number 19. Rounding out the field here, Steve Maurer in the 888, John Rayner in the 302, G.J. Boydell in the 014, and Cody Graham in the 2. No call for either Bud Ward or John Rayner. Guess they'll have to start late from the pits if they do come on out and race with us. But field is set to go racing. At the moment, 18 drivers, 30 laps at Thunder Valley, the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. We are set to go for the Lucy Olson start. First feature of the season is green. Off at turn number 2, it's Dickens that is at the point. Musso second, Landis and Templeton. They're Hoosier to Hoosier for the 3rd position. Musso gets a nice run off turn 4. He has to let off, but it's a 5-car race for the top spot early. Dickens, Musso, Templeton, Ross, then Landis. Here comes Connor. Long way around. He wants the 3rd spot. Can he get it from Templeton? 3 wide behind them. That's Jack Hitt. That looks to go 2 for 1. Blake Chapman's up there as well. Hitt nearly hits the sand dunes there off of turn 4 as he hangs on to it. Oh, Musso has to check up. Dickens off of 2. He's up on the wall. Catches Templeton. Oh my goodness, he got stuck. Have you ever? He is legit through a wall. Dang, that was wild. Here's a look. And I think that helps Brian Dickens keep the lead. Because watch him here off of turn 2. There was contact between the top 2. Dickens hanging on to it. He catches the wall, and that's how Templeton gets into him. Tries to avoid it, and then boom. I have never seen anyone get stuck like that. And we may have had something else happen, too, between Terry Landis and Jeff Barker. We'll just have to wait and see. Here's a look at it in real time, and then we'll take a look and show you Landis and Barker, as I believe the two had some extra contact. So Landis went on the high side as he tried to avoid him. Oh my goodness. All 4 wheels off the ground, and then the car just simply rolls over onto its side. That's a tough break for Terry Lance, who won heat race number 2 earlier tonight. So lights still on the Steve King Foundation pace truck as we await going back to green. So first double file restart coming up here. Brian Dickens, Jacob Musso, row 1. Blake Chapman, Connor Ross, row 2. Joe Canellis, Jack Hitt, row 3. Trent Verstraeten, Daniel Vaught, row 4. Pat Boyce, Joe Musso, round out the top 10. We'll watch this off of the Chapman Racing drone. Obviously tough to see. Oh, we got a wreck behind them. Coming back to the green flag, it was Pat Boyce and Trent Verstraeten that got into it. And let's take a look. Unfortunately, because the green flag did come out, this will be counted as a caution. Pat Boyce just wanted to go. It was just a check about Verstraeten caught the back of Canellis. And luckily nobody else was involved in that too. That could have been worse for wear a little bit. Take a look here. Runs in the back. Right on board here with Pat Boyce. We lost our camera there a couple of times. So Brian Dickens still with that four-leaf clover on him with that caution flag flying. I think they're trying to wait for the pace car here. Unless we had a glitch. Nope. I think Dickens is waiting here for the pace truck. Yep. And so we will be good to go. So, hello to Danny Rocks. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning on in tonight. Here's a look at the schedule coming up this week for week number 1 here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Monday Night Madness tonight at Lernerville Speedway for the Rebels and Raiders. Tuesday night on Asphalt Tuesday, the NASCAR 87s run at Legacy Daytona, as well as the Truck Series at Daytona. Wednesday night, some Hometown Heroes action at Kern County for sprint car racing, followed by the Xfinity Trail at Kansas. Thursday Night Thunder, small blocks and big blocks are at Volusia with the Cup Trail at Kansas. We're back to green. 3 laps are complete. Here comes Chapman underneath as a bad restart from Brian Dickens. Moves the 61 ahead as Musso, I think, neck-co to the wall. Blake Chapman with a great jump. He looks down in the basement for the race lead. Can he get it off for 4? Not just yet, but he pulls up to him. Hoosier to Hoosier into turn number 1. Can the salesman get the bite off turn 2 he needs? Musso tries to fight back. Can't get it on the gas, I think because of how slick the high side's gotten now. That low side doesn't even look slick. And that's helped out the salesman take the lead for the first time today. Dickens still hanging on for dear life with Ross behind him. Musso high, wide, and handsome still as the field makes the way to turn number 3. Chapman slides up. Musso tries to crisscross on him, and he can't do it. What a corner by Blake Chapman, and with 6 laps complete, he leads. Musso second, Dickens third. Here's Ross and Hitt. This is the race for 4th. Ross slides up right in front of the 217 of Jack Hitt. And Gentleman Jack wants to take that 4th position back. Here's the onboard. He just about tapped the wall trying to slide job the 35. His daddy's money sends it in. Ross tries to crisscross off for 4, but he can't do it immediately. Man, look at all this smoke. That's pretty cool. Well, the drivers are just barely tapping the wall, and at least this entire smoke coming out. That's awesome. But as Chapman, meanwhile, that's opened up a nice gap on Jake Musso. 8.5 tenths as 2 through 4 nose to tail. Ross, the quickest driver in this race at the moment with a 17.86. On board with him for a lap. Oh! Musso caught the wall, or that's Dickens as he rides it. Caution comes down. Oh, and he collects Brandon Templeton and Daniel Vaught and maybe even more. And for the second time tonight, we see Dickens and Templeton in an accident. I'm pretty sure they're teammates as well. Connor with a nice miss. I just misjudged the high side. And then right there is the impact. There's Daniel Vaught. Wow, who is that missed that? That was Barker who dodged a huge bullet there. Let's run on board with Brian Dickens. He's trying to get off of it. Into traffic he goes. That's Dickens still. I want Templeton. There we go. Here's G.J. Boydell. Apparently he was involved in this crash too. Oh, he was the third car. I thought it was Daniel Vaught for a moment. Let's watch Jeff Barker here. Watch how close he gets to being involved. Look at that. A Code Brown moment somewhere in Brewerton. So ready to come back to the green flag. Single file restarts, I believe, for the rest of this one. Blake Chapman leads, Jacob Musso second, Connor Ross third, Jack hit fourth. Joe Musso now rounds out the top 5. Biggest mover, Cody Graham from last to the 8th spot. There you see him in that red, blue, and white number 2. That's hit underneath for third on Connor Ross. That won't work. Musso and Vaught race for the final spot in the top 5. Just about 3 wide. Ross all over Musso for the 2 spot. Connor with a mega slider. Went way too high. This could help out hit. Take away the 3rd position. Again, tapping that wall barely. Got to be careful with that. If you tap it too much, you're done like Brian Dickens. Here's Cody's number 2. Up to 6 if he can get past Daniel Vaught at the line. I think scoring has him 6, and they do. Vaught throws a slider. Just enough for Cody to have a lane. Terry Landis rebounding that 161. There goes Landis as he's through to the 7th spot. So we're halfway home. 15 up and 15 down. Connor's crashed. Connor has flipped it in turn 2. And he cannot get back on all 4 wheels. Caution flag is out. Another front runner involved. Was running in third at the time, and he was tapping that wall a lot. That just sent it right there. Great camera work. These are just regular iRacing cameras we're using today. On board with Canada Connor. We keep losing GoPros. Don't forget late models coming up next here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Later on today, we won't be broadcasting this, but UMPs are returning to the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we're really looking forward to that. Isaac Salas running the league, and I think he's going to have a ball with that. Should go 1 to green this time. I swear, laps at Bristol feel like forever. So coming back to green this time by, with 14 laps to go. How about Cody Graham? He's now cracked the top 5 with Connor Ross's flip. Terry Landis right on his tail, trying to rebound after an early incident. Nice restart for Blake Chapman, who makes the first move. Hit goes down low. Everybody else stays up high. Gentleman for second, however, though he bumped on the bottom just a bit. He keeps holding his ground up top. Graham in 5th. He wants the 4th spot. Daniel Vaught again all the way down low. That's for 6th on Terry Landis. Caution flag waves. Bob D. Good up on his side. And that, I believe, was in turn number 3. Ooh. Oh! Caught some air from, I think that was GJ. And look at him. That's like a top going around. On board with Bob here. on, guys. We need those GoPros for next week, just saying. So standing by here for the next restart. And are we doubling up here for this next restart? Lights remain on the Steve King Foundation pace truck. I don't know if we go green this time or if we stay in caution. We'll see. And staying single file here for this restart. Up, the lights are still on? Ah. Sorry, trying to think here. But we'll get this going back to green shortly. Hopefully we can go 13 laps or so to the finish. This late model race was actually, fun fact, supposed to start at, I'm looking here, it was supposed to start 8 o'clock. And the UMP race was supposed to begin at 8:30. So we're a little bit behind with all these cautions, but oh well. I think we're good to go back to green. Yes, we are. That caution seemed a lot longer than normal. But here we go. We're back to green. Top two again up on the cushion. Head still downstairs. Race for fourth. Here comes Landis. He's back to fifth. He wants fourth on Joe Musso. And Joe takes away the fourth spot. Or rather hanging on, but he catches the wall. Decreases the yaw on the race car. Now what does Landis do here? Can't get the bite, but he nearly catches the sand barrels. On board Terry as he's hanging on for dear life. But he moves into the fifth spot. And Joe Musso is fading fast. That's Daniel Vaught and Jeff Barker. Nearly 3 wide as we have 9 laps to go. Connor Ross trying to recover after his flip earlier on. Jack Hitt may have company for that third spot. Cody Graham is closing in after his flip earlier on. Oh, Cody! Hanging on for dear life. Can he save it? Oh my goodness, I don't know how he saved it. It cost him a lot of track position. But that is hanging on for dear life. Oh, speaking of hanging on, Connor Ross. Landed on all fours this time, but may not be able to use a quick repair here. Here's a look. Again, a fast car today. Man, that is wild. Catches Joe Musso. And everybody scatters to avoid him. On board with Canada Connor. There's not even a cushion on there at all. So Connor sends it to the tail end of the lead lap. And we are wasting no time because we want to get a late model race going. So 6 laps to go and Chapman holds serve. Landis for third on Jack Hitt, on board with him, and again, there he is on that bottom. It just gets so risky because you don't want to hit that inside retaining wall or the sand barrels. Vaught and Graham continue to race, this time for fifth. And Cody may have some damage after catching the wall a lot earlier on a couple laps to go. But we'll see what Graham can do up on the cushion, the thin cushion. Coming to 2 laps to go this time for Blake Chapman. And GJ Boydell has crashed it. This isn't a caution yet until now. And that front end is gone. And so this sets up a 2-lap shootout. I think he was in the process of, nope, he was in the back of the pack. Did Templeton catch him? He did. Oh, and a head-on accident. That is heavy. Right on board here with the Canadian. Templeton got into it with, I think it was, I may have been Connor earlier. Just doesn't expect the contact if it was either him or Pat Boyce, but it just leaves that 400 horsepower engine exposed. He's trying to shift the car back into forward drive. But yep, there is part of that engine. If you ever want a good piece of it, take a look for yourself. And this race is finishing. This race will finish under caution. Due to the time limit, Blake Chapman has won this one. Under the yellow flag, a very rare instance you see here. But due to the time limit that was set, this race is deemed complete. Blake Chapman followed by Jake Musso and Jack Hitt. And it's also because we have to tend to another race. Chapman the winner. Cody Graham the hard charger from 20th to 5th. Vaught, Barker, Joe Musso, Bixler, Bob DeGood. It's 1 through 10. Connor Ross, Brandon Templeton, tough breaks for them as they had really fast cars tonight. So 2 laps shy of the finish. And we will try to make this as quick as possible. And we've got Jack Hitt ready to go. And let's talk with him. Jack, we got to make this quick, but you had a really good hot rod out there. Making your way up to third as well, taking advantage of some of the wrecks happening in front of you. Walk us through it tonight.
Yeah, just had to stay patient and avoid any contact there and try to keep it clean. Would have liked to finish it out, but, didn't work out that way. But still, third place is a good, solid finish.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Shout out to you for broadcasting again and everyone behind the scenes at the league. And shout out to my wife for giving me time to do this every week.
All right, well, we'll let you go. Great job tonight.
Thanks, Marty.
Jack Hitt finishing third. Jake Musso, our second place finisher. Jake, got to make this quick, but what positives do you take away from this run here tonight?
Well, it was in a midget, and I got P2. That's all I'll take away from it. That's pretty good for me in a midget.
Walk us through your race.
I was just battling for the top there the whole time, and just keeping it nice and tidy there, and not putting it in the wall or anything, and then just latching on to Blake there at the end.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
All the boys at GKM Racing, Fast Ace Hot Rods, you for a great broadcast, and Coast to Coast for a great league.
All righty. We'll let you go. Best of luck in the late model.
Thank you.
That's Jake Musso, our second place finisher. To the winner we go, to Extreme E-Speed Victory Lane. The salesman, Blake Chapman, in Victory Lane. Blake, we got to make this quick, unfortunately. But where did you believe that your car was better than any other driver tonight?
I don't know, man. Maybe everybody else is driving it like a midget, and I was driving it like a sprint car because we were just flying around this track so fast that it felt like I was in like a 360 sprint. But yeah, the track was really good. Wish the cautions didn't take so long, but yeah, I felt like you could pass on the bottom, but top was fast way around for sure. Yeah,
Terry was working the bottom early there in the race as well as in the heat race as a teammate of Terry. Why was that bottom working from your perspective?
It was you could still get some grip coming off of the corner, and corner entry it stuck pretty well actually, even though it was pretty slick. But Terry was telling me at the end of that race that he felt the bottom coming back in, so I was hoping that none of the guys right behind me were going to try something on the bottom and get around me there at the very end. But I think the top was still just a little bit faster.
Well, it was a great run for you tonight. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
I got to thank my parents and grandparents for watching and supporting all the guys down at the Krite Sim Racing team and the Can-Am Racing team. Got to give a shout-out to Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some new Halloween flavors out. Go check that out. And don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on, Marty.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the win, and hope you're having fun with that trophy you got earlier this weekend.
Oh, yeah, man. Thanks, Marty.
Absolutely. Blake Chapman, your winner here. We're going to stop aside and go to break. Try and get you on as soon as possible here for our late model. So stay with us at the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
For Lucy Olsen, she has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Coast to Coast Racing Network here at the dirt track of Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we're set to go for our next race, late model time, and it's brought to you by Extreme eSpeed TV. Marty Scala with you. Racing should begin in just a moment. Drivers making their way onto the racetrack. 18 late models here with us this evening at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the guy that pretty much dominated it last year is with us. That is the Detective Steven Spees. 7 wins on the year. Dominated it 819 points to 787 from Kurt Schatzer. Can anybody stop him? That's the question. And we'll find out in the next 12 weeks. As we get set to race these late models here, 350 cubic inch V8 with 700 horses on them. Excited to see how this one goes down. Dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 4/10 mile racetrack. With 13 degrees of banking in the corners, home of the World Finals. to seeing how this one goes down. Oh, we gotta update the project. Need to update our graphics here. Sorry about that, guys. Look at Anthony Morano in the number 32, getting ready to go. Right on board with him before we go racing. I hope these guys know that we're ready to go up here. And hello, Megan, watching in chat tonight. So drivers getting a chance to get some more practice time here before we go racing. Car count now at 19 here, which is great to see as Morano goes around. There's the one of Canellas. Took the Heat 3 win in the late model. And there's our buddy Dino, who will be with, I believe will be with us tomorrow night. Should be with them right now for a Super Dirt Car Series race at Weed Sport, but got rained out at 11 a.m., so now he's here. He's currently 5th right now on the charts. We're getting that update, by the way, don't worry. This Morano is currently the quickest. We got 19 drivers here with us tonight. So I believe they are likely in a driver's meet at the moment before we go racing. So again, we'll have the pill draw and 8-lap heats, and then a 30-lap feature. Coming on up, everybody will transfer out of the heat races, and we'll also have our 3-minute warm-up. So Morano quickest currently, Speed's 2nd, Schatzer 3rd, Templeton 4th, Reynolds 5th, Graham 6th, the Young 7th, Blake Chapman 8th, Pat Boyce 9th, and Joe Musso rounds out the top 10. And we are ready to go for heat action. So ready for heat race number 1, and as always, that is brought to you by our friends at Flatline Racing Bodies. Anthony Morano is on pole position. He's next to 63 of Joe Musso. Row number 2, it's Slide Job, Isaac Salas, next to 35 of Connor Ross. Row number 3, it's the Mayor, Steve Bixler, next to the 79 of Dean Reynolds, and rounding out the field, the Detective Steven Spees in car number 55. Field rolls off here for their pace lap. 8 laps. Winner starts from the pole this evening. Here we go for heat 1. Green flag is out. 3 wide for last. We had 3 wide for the lead, and it's happening again. Musso, Morano, Salas with the slider into turns number 3 and 4, and slide job leads lap number 1. Holy moly, what a start this is. Is Connor gonna make... Pardon me, is Connor gonna make it 4 wide here? No, up the wall he goes. As Musso hit the Tory tire, you could see just briefly had some left front damage, and that cost him time along with the rest of the pack. That gives Salas a nice gap. Morano pulls out a line. Underneath he goes with a slider on the Moose. And up the track, but Musso counters it back. And Musso has second. Salas just about gave a love tap to the wall for a moment. Spees and Reynolds race for the 4th spot. Could be for the 3rd spot. 3 wide in the center of 3 and 4. It's Morano that hangs on to second. Spees runs that cushion once again as you're on board with him. Salas, meanwhile, he continues to run the slider line here in 3 and 4. 1 and 2. Likes to keep it locked up right next to that barrier. But into 3 and 4, slide job works his slide job line. Spees, meanwhile, door to door with Morano for the 2 spot. Had a nice exit. Morano goes for the lead. A wicked slide job through turns 1 and 2. Salas counters it. 3-car race for the lead, coming to the white flag with 1 lap to go. Oh, Speeds is loose. I think Morano tried to shoot a gap up through the middle. Salas protects the slider line, shuts the door. Morano nearly hits the wall. Morano will get a great corner exit here. Field goes down the back chute. Salas plays defense again. Speeds looks for second off for 4. Salas takes the win. Wow, that was fun over Morano, Speeds, and Reynolds. What a start to heat action here tonight. So we're ready for Heat 2, brought to you by Langdon Mechanical. On the pole this time, he's on the pole for his heat. It's the salesman Blake Chapman next to 41 of Pap Boys. Row number 2, Joe Dirk Canellis next to 513 of the Brewer to Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 3 rounding out the field. Been a while since I've seen him in an I race. That's the New Hampshire Rocket of Aiden Young. He's next to 2 of Cody Graham. Fun start to the day. Fun Sunday, I should say, as a whole. We had the Cup race at Kansas. Tyler Reddick took the win. I'm actually 2 for 2 now on predictions this year for the playoffs. We had NFL kickoff on a Sunday for week 1. We had Red Zone on the TV. U.S. Open ended today. Novak Djokovic took the men's finals. But obviously, I was more pumped to the women's side of things, seeing Coco win. Sunday Night Football happening. And we also got this, as we're green for Heat 2. Chapman with a nice jump. Canellis low on Boyce for second. Everyone stays put low and high. Chapman tries to run away with this one early. 3-car length advantage on Pap Boyce. Barker wants the 3rd spot on Joe Dirt. Make it 4th for Cody Graham. Man, Canellis went from 2nd to 5th in a matter of about 5 seconds or so. Aiden Young is stuck in the last spot. And everyone stays single file for right now. Let's see if Barker can try and make a move. As the field works into turn number 3. Boyce reads the line well, shuts the door just a bit. And Cody tries to search up his options. Wants the better exit, but you see he got a little bit loose off of 2 for a moment. He continues to run the line of Barker, hopes that he makes a mistake. And now Graham sends it into turns 1 and 2. Tries the slider, no yaw from him though. Meanwhile, Blake Chapman running away with this one, 15:67 last time by. Quickest lap of the day, make it now a 15:59 by him. 1.3 second advantage on Pat Boyce in second. And if you could hear closely there on the engine of Pat Boys, he is on the rev limiter. Trying to get all he can do, all he can get into the straights. Just barely on that rev limiter. To the race for third here with 1 lap to go. Graham all over Canellis, nearly turns him. No yaw for the driver of the number 2. Canellis looks for something. Graham sends it. You know who's going to win this heat race. Canellis, though, may lose the 4th spot. Can he gain it? Squeezed up in the wall. Canellis edges out Graham. Chapman, meanwhile, wins it. Boyce second, Barker third. Time for Heat 3, brought to you by Top Notch Trucking. And here's the starting lineup for the heat race. Jake Musso on pole position. Next to him, it's Jim Bowie, the 058. Row number 2, Brandon Templeton in the 31, and Bud Ward's next to him in car number 19. Finally, in row number 3, Bob DeGood in the 7, and Kurt Schatzer in the 218. There's Bud. Never saw him in the midget race. I think he was getting himself all ready for the late model race. May have chosen the wrong session. The first time I've ever seen Bud in a race, so glad he could join us out here tonight. Green flag is out for heat race number 3. Jim Bowie did not get the start he wanted, as the top 2 have already pulled away from Bud Ward, Jake Musso and Brandon Templeton. One works the middle groove at the moment off of 4. It's Musso that leads at the stripe. Templeton wants to find a way to close in. Can't do it there. Change for third. Schatzer slides up on Bud Ward to take it away. Ward may have a line off the corner. Nearly hooks Superman at the stripe. But your top 2 drivers currently working 16-second lap times. This is your race for the lead. Templeton on the gas first over Musso, but better corner exit for the driver of the Rocket 61. Templeton scraped the wall for a slight moment as he hangs on to it. Meanwhile, Musso last lap 15.78, half second better than the 31, so we can try and open up the doors here. Musso last year in Pro Late Model Comp, 3 top 10s in the Sim Seats ride. Brandon Templeton in P2 just about tapped the wall once again. 2 wins and 6 top 5s. Every race he was in the top 10. And he now has taken away the quickest lap. Not that last time by, but the lap before. 15.68. He has reeled the 61 back in for the lead here. There's already 1 lap to go in this heat. Templeton rides the cushion in 1 and 2. Does he have anything for the 61 as the field makes their way through 3 and 4? Musso defends and let the moose loose. Jake Musso takes heat race number 3. Templeton second, Schatzer third, Bud Ward fourth, Bob DeGood fifth, Jim Bowie sixth. And so the Ohsweken Speedway 3-minute warm-up about to begin. We'll step aside and go to break. When we come back, feature time. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olsen? She has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore.
Warm-up just about finishing up, and it's the 55 of Steven Spee's quickest at a 15.683. Well, folks, we are just about set to go for our feature of the evening, final televised feature of the evening with the late models. Let's meet the field in the catalytic recovery starting lineup. On the pole, let's slide job. Isaac Salas in the 5 and the salesman Blake Chapman in the 20. Row number 2, Jake Musso in the 61 and Anthony Morano in the 32. Row number 3, Pat Boyce in the 41 and Brandon Templeton in the 31. Row 4, the detective Steven Spees in the 55 and the bird to beast Jeff Barker in the 513. Row 4, Superman Kurt Schatzer. So we round up the top 10, Superman Kurt Schatzer in the 218 and Dean Reynolds in the 79. Row 6, Joe Dirk Canellis in the 1, Bud Ward in the 19. Row number 7, it's Daddy's Money, Connor Ross in the 35 and Cody Graham in the 2. Row 8, Bob D. Good in the 7 and the Moose, Joe Musso in the 63. Rounded out the field tonight, New Hampshire Rocket, Aiden Young in the 69, Jim Bowie in the 058, and the mayor, Steve Bixler, in the 75. So we're set to go racing here at Charlotte. 30 laps. Let us know your pick in the chat. Good one around the corner is going to be Isaac Salas, Blake Chapman with the sweep. Maybe Steven Spees coming from midfield. Jake Musso with the field. We're about to find out. There's always a favorite out there. Pick it ASAP. Field makes their way into turn number 3. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? The season opener for the late models from coast to coast. Slide job of the salesman, bring us the green. It's showtime at Charlotte. The Lucy Olsen starts the field, makes their way through 3 and 4. Lap 1 led by Slide Job. So Salas leads, Blake Chapman in second. Chapman looks low early for the top spot. Better exit from the 5. Chapman decides to search for options. Anthony Morano third, Brandon Templeton fourth. Jake Musso rounds out the top 5. On board with Chapman. He stays right behind Slide Job. Looks for the higher exit off of turn 4. Can he get it here? Joe Canellis has crashed. Caution is out. And he's collected Bud Ward, and there is heavy right front damage on the 1. Keep in mind the new dirt update features the new damage model on the late models, which makes for some really cool stuff. Here's a look at what happened. Bud Ward's behind in all of this. He just got loose off of 2, and he hit the opening. The right front is gone. There you see Bud Ward in the background collected in this one too. Right on board with Joe. He's got that opening and sheared the left front tether. Here's Bud Ward. Just trying to miss, and then boom was there. And look at that tire fly. I wish, in my opinion, I wish that the tires could just personally, if they could just stay off and not, you know, come back on the car, that would be fine with me. Coming back for our first restart of the night, brought to you by Mission 22 in the late models. Salas and Chapman make up the front row. 3 laps go on the board this time. Salas holds. Morano wants the 2 spot. Canellis back out. I believe he's back on pit road. 4 wide for 4th off of 4. And Musso has the slight advantage. Can we go 4 wide once again? You know, I can't remember what race it was. It was at Charlotte where someone went 4 wide. And somebody said we have the potential to go 5 wide. They're 4 wide again. This time Barker gets the advantage. Connor Ross still stuck on the bottom. We've got a great race for the lead. They're 4 wide again. We've got a good race for the race lead, but they're still 4 wide. Around goes Templeton. 360 keeps it going. We're under caution. Holy moly! Now we can take our breath. We can relax from that. As Salas and Chapman were racing for the lead, Morano scored the quickest lap. The yellow flies for B-Temp. Another angle at what happened. Just slightly touched Dean Reynolds there, came up on him. So he did some slight damage on the left rear. Now we also had something with Joe Canellis. I want to see what that was. Ah, he forgot to use the quick repair. The car just wouldn't steer. Oh no, this time he has right front damage. Where's the same damage from earlier on tonight? Yeah, he forgot to check the quick repair. And that ends Joe's night early. Unless he decides to run the UMPs. So we're 2x2 for the restart. Salas and Chapman, row 1. Morano, Musso, row 2. Barker, Reynolds, row 3. Spees and Ross, row 4. Schatzer, Boyce round out the top 10. We're going to watch this restart from our Chapman Racing drone. And so here we go. Salas immediately holds serve. Musso nearly taps the wall. Blake's down low for the race lead. 3rd through 5th stack up. Dean's in the middle. Chapman throws the slide job. Contact between the top 2. Morano looks for 2nd. And Morano with a run on the high side, dancing with the devil. That's the wall. Morano moves into the 2 spot at the line. And here comes the 61 of Jake Musso. Dean Reynolds, you can throw a blanket under them. Yellow's out for Joe Musso. And that was starting to get good. Now it'll be interesting with Blake in 3rd. Oh, Schatzer sent it into him. Why, that looked very weird. I'm going to watch from the rear end here of Joe. Low on Aiden. That was so weird. So the big mover in that situation, the most notable mover, was Anthony Morano as he moves into the 2nd spot. That puts Blake on the inside of row 2 for this restart. You also got Jake and Dean that nearly got scattered in that. Connor Ross, currently the biggest mover of this race so far. as he has scored in the 6th position, up 7 spots. Excuse me. Back to the restart, 10 down, 20 to go. Salas checks out of the hotel immediately. Oh, Connor Ross head on in turn 2. Loses the front end. We stay under the green flag. But that car is junk. Tows it to the pits immediately as we stay under the green flag. Meanwhile, Blake Chapman has moved into the 2nd spot. More trouble, Joe Musso, Pat Boyce, Jim Bowie. My goodness, this place looks like a junkyard with what's happened here. All right, let's show you Connor first. Just got loose and tried to overcorrect it, and then goes head on. And look at that front end gone. How about that by iRacing? And now what happened here? Watch Joe. Oh, this happened in front of him with Pat Boyce. And the front end of his car's gone too. Show you a look here. Racing Aiden Young, around he goes, so Aiden's a part of it. F41 car, lucky to not go over. So right on board here with Joe. Damn. Was afraid he was going to go low. Went high and was still there. Pat Boyce. Jim Bowie. Just came up to the scene and missed as we come back to green. Chapman again on the low line. Let's see what Musso and Reynolds do here. Morano around the longer way. P2 takes away the spot upstairs. Here comes Reynolds down low. Can he get in front of the 61 for 4th? You bet he can. Forced his way underneath. Didn't even need any contact. But I think we'll have to give it back because Steve Bixler has spun it in turn number 2. Bring out another Gambler Motorsports yellow. Look to Malcolm's replay. Just lost it all by himself. And hits the Tory powdered donut. Well, maybe, I don't know what happened there. I think the rear end came out from him. I don't know. Didn't have any throttle on it. Or just didn't have the steering he needed. Excuse me. Just waiting here to get ready to come back to the grid. All right, just near the halfway point. Salas and Morano set to come back to the green flag. And Blake Chapman did not get a good jump, but I think Musso edged out Chapman the line for P3. That could make things interesting if we get a caution flag coming out here. But Chapman wants to slide up and get his way to the third position, and he can. Now what does Dean do on Jake Musso for fourth? Same thing he did last time? Not yet, off of 2. Chapman all over Morano, Dean's all over Musso. Everyone rocks and rolls up top. Morano tapped the wall, opens up the door for Blake Chapman. Morano stays right put in front. Now the 32. Over his good buddy for the lead in Salas. Chapman looks low. Has the bite off at 2. Couldn't stay side by side entering 3. Good race behind them for 6. Jeff Barker, Kurt Schatzer, Steven Spees, Brandon Templeton. Nice recovery from Templeton after he spun earlier on. 11 to go at the line. Top 3, nose to tail. Salas, Morano, Chapman. Here's the salesman looking low. And I think Chapman may have gotten Morano just a little bit loose. Do they stay door to door down the back? Yes, they do. Blake doesn't throw a slider into turn number 3. Keep the yaw going. Morano clears off for 4. 9 laps to go. Musso in the wall he goes. What does this do to Dino? Does he have a chance to take away the 4th spot? Yes, he does. Dean looks low. Puts the slider on the Moose. And Dino goes to P4 with 8 to go. Back to that race for the top spot. Your top 3 all under a blanket. Salas, Morano, Salesman. 7 to go. It was close to call last time at the line. Chapman still wants the 2nd position. This is all helping Salas pull away. 6 more laps. This is what Salas sees from the rear end. Better be glad he may not have a rear mirror on that race car. 5 laps to go. Blake is trying everything for the 2nd spot. He probably doesn't care if he's not saving tires or if he is. This is a fun race for 2nd. Blake may have one last trick up his sleeve to go for something. Is this the time where he pulls the slide job into turn 3 and 4? Nearly hits the tire. Templeton crashes, yellow flag. And that right front is gone. G-O-N-E, gone. That's his night. Slide job on Schatzer. And he just caught the wall. And the right front is, again, gone. On board Templeton. There goes that fender. What style was the tire that gave on him? So a single file restart. A 3-lap shootout to decide who wins this one. Salas, Morano, Chapman, Reynolds, Jake Musso. That's the top 5. A fun finish coming down to the wire. And Salas with a nice restart. As always, if you're leading, you get that freebie lap. If I'm Chapman, just stay behind Morano, because he'll likely pull up to the 5. We'll have to try and make a move. Morano sent it in. Dino with company from Jake Musso for 4th. 2 to go. Half a second lead for the 32 of Morano. Anthony decides to diamond 1 and 2, but we go to yellow again. And it's for Templeton once more, and so that puts us into a green-white checkered. And what happened this time to cause the yellow? Ah, the right front was still dragging on him. And then the wall went. You know, I think these drivers are expecting quick repairs to be on, and it seems like they all have fast repairs, and it seems like they're forgetting to check them. Maybe a change in iRacing or something. But again, don't quote me on that. So we're single file. Drivers scrubbing their tires. So here we go. Gonzalez take the win from Morano and Chapman. Green-white checkered. First of 2 attempts at overtime. Chapman wants a run for 2nd. They face the white flag this time by Salas, 1 lap away from a late model victory. Last season he had only 3 starts and no wins. That's gonna change this year. Off at 3 and 4. Isaac Salas. Slide job wins the season opener for the late models at Charlotte. Morano 2nd, Blake Chapman 3rd, Dean Reynolds 4th, he's the hard charger tonight, and Jake Musso 5th. Dean telling the competition good race. And so we'll show you our official results here for tonight. Salas the win, Morano 2nd, Blake Chapman 3rd, Dean Reynolds 4th, Jake Musso 5th, Jeff Barker 6th, Steven Spees 7th, Kurt Schatzer 8th, Cody Graham 9th, Joe Musso 10th, Pat Boyce 11th, Aiden Young 12th, Bob DeGood in 13th, 14th Buddy Ward, 15th Jim Bowie, 16th Steve Bixler, 17th Brandon Templeton, 18th Connor Rossa, 19th Joe Canellis. So we've got Isaac, we've got Blake, we just need Morano. And we are good to go. So let's begin with Blake Chapman, our 3rd place finisher. Blake, an interesting one tonight. Tough to make moves, though, throughout the race on Morano. How tough was he?
Yeah, it was just a tough track. I know I don't have too much experience in these things, but it seemed like it was almost impossible to pass. I tried the bottom a couple times. It wasn't there. I could get a run in the middle in 1 and 2, but it wasn't there in 3 and 4. It's just not a great pass to make moves on tonight. That's for sure.
Gonna make it quick here again because we got UMPs for the series coming up in 15 minutes as that closes. Who do you want to give shout outs to?
I got to thank my parents, grandparents for watching and supporting all the guys down at KSR and the kart racing team. I got to give a shout out to Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You can head over to the website and use code CART at checkout for 15% off your purchase. And I got to thank you for putting this on, Marty.
Awesome. Well, we'll let you go. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Blake Chapman finishing third. Anthony Morano, our second place finisher. We got to make this quick because of the UMPs closing in just a bit. But what more did you need for Isaac there tonight?
What I needed from Isaac was for him to just plow the wall. That was the only way I was going to get around him, but that wasn't happening. But I don't race these often, so I'll definitely take a second to him.
Absolutely. Other than that, what positives do you take away?
A lot of positives. I didn't, completely punt the pooch. I don't run these often, so I'll definitely look more into it and see what I can do with them.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Everybody at FTM, Dean Reynolds, Super Dare Car Series, Marty for putting us up here, my wife Sherry for being with me on here, everyone at C2C for putting us up.
Alrighty. We'll let you go. Well done tonight, and see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Anthony Morano, our second place finisher. And now we go to Victory Lane to talk with your winner at Slide Job, Isaac Salas. Isaac, welcome back in the late model. You make it to Victory Lane. Well done tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. It was a struggle to say the least.
Well, you made it work off really well from the start. Where was your race car, from your opinion, better than Anthony and Blake?
Probably towards that middle to the end portion in that run before we got that caution with like 3 to go. I actually like was saving tires as much as I could because this is my first race since the update and I had no idea how anything would react. So once it was kind of go time, I still had quite a bit of tire left.
Absolutely. What were your thoughts late in the race when we were going cautions after cautions after cautions?
I was just a little bit nervous in all actuality because it's very easy to mess up a start and have somebody that's gets right on you right afterwards. And not gonna lie to you, I'm currently racing on a hot spot on my phone, so it was like, well, if I mess up at all, I mean, I don't know how good I'm gonna be.
Are you sure you're not Kevin Fry?
I tried to pull my best Kevin Fry impression, to be honest with you. Like as we know, I'm kind of moving out right now, and so I have no internet.
But that explains, though, why you were blinking from time to time. So
yeah.
But hey,
so I apologize about the blinking.
But hey, it worked out well for you. I'm gonna make this quick here because we've got your race coming up in a bit, the UMPs. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Yeah. Just big shout out to all those guys who are at Venom Racing, Dean the Super Dirt Car Series, Magnum Race Designs, Got Your Six Racing Network, RSN Trackside. Just found my koozie again. Super excited about that. Ain't gonna lie to you. Mission 22, everything that they do for our veterans, man. My Gramps and Top Notch Trucking for all the support. Everybody here in Coast to Coast that hopefully this is a good show to just kind of start the season off and kind of hopefully we can just do better throughout the week and just make everything a blast. And then yeah, thanks to my friends, my family. Thank you for the broadcast, Marty. And I think that's about it.
Well done tonight, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, buddy.
So Isaac Salas, he is your late model winner in the season opener. So everything is taking us back to live coverage. There we go. So, racing is in the books here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. UMPs will be racing in a bit. We're going to say goodbye for now on our end. Pardon me on the broadcast, but here's what's coming up later this week. Monday night on Monday Night Madness, sprint cars at Lernerville. Tuesday is Asphalt Tuesday, 87's Daytona, as well as the trucks. Wednesday, Hometown Heroes, sprint cars at Kern County. Xfinity Trail is at Kansas. Thursday night for Thursday Night Thunder, small and big blocks at Fallujah. The next gen at Kansas. Next week for Sunday Night Showdown, Midgets at Eldora, Pro Late Models at Fallujah. So I'll do it for us here this evening. On behalf of everyone at the Coast to Coast Racing League, Roger Craig, Preston Cranmer, all our fine admins. Marty Scala with you, signing off this evening. Congrats to your winners tonight. Blake Chapman in the Midgets and Isaac Salas in the Late Models. So long.